all right. Shout out to everybody out there listening, man. I'm gonna be pretty brief. Well, I'm gonna try to be at least. And I just wanted to speak to Black America for a second and kind of explain some of my position and some of my way of thinking. I guess you could say in regards to where we are in Black America right now. Okay, so most of what I do is regarding the black economy, right? I feel like most of our problems in black America stems from economic issues. And so when I begin this journey, I begin to look up why we have so many economic problems in our community. And what I found out is mortifying and alarming at the same time. And it really explains a lot as to where we are in our in our fight, in our plight. Okay, so basically the way this economy works is our money comes from what's called the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, for those that don't know, and I'm just going to speak candidly, I'm not going to curve anything. But the Federal Reserve is a bank, right? It's not a part of the federal government. I don't know if you knew that or not. A lot of people do know it, but it's not a part of the government in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It's independent from the government, and they tell us that they did this in order to try to keep presidents and people in the government from influencing what the Federal Reserve does. That's what they told us. Okay. Now, one thing people may not know about the Federal Reserve is they have the power to print money. And in 1971, we were taken off of what's called the gold standard. And what the gold standard basically was for every dollar we had, it had to be backed by gold. And in fact, gold was redeemable where you could take your dollars into a bank and redeem gold back, right? That was the standard we were on originally. And so they removed us off of the standard. Nixon did in 1971, I believe. And after, I think that was orchestrated because what happened after that is very interesting. And this is all relevant to where I'm going with this, later on. But what happened after that, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, America began to print money, of course. That was the point of him taking us off of the gold standard. And in America starting to print money, what happened is that they just printed it and started to give it to white people and excluded black people out of the black economy, out of the economy, not black economy, but out of the economy in general. Um, and since then, they've just gone crazy with the printing, and we all know this based on the $40 trillion of debt. But the problem with a lot of that is that black people haven't had any control of that money. Literally, the banks are printing money and giving it to white people. That's what the Federal Reserve does. It's called quantitative easing. And what quantitative easing is simply done is give white people unlimited amounts of money. They haven't earned it. They haven't worked for it their whole lives, and all of these big wild stories that they like to tell, that black people like to speculate as to why they're financially ahead of us, it has nothing to do with that. They haven't worked any harder than you. In fact, they've worked less, to be honest. Um, and white people are basically have hijacked our central banking system. And what they do is they print money, literally, and give it to all white people, who then give it to more white people, who then eventually buy up your neighborhoods. And all of what since the since 1900, black people have lost 90% of their lands that they've owned. Black America has lost 90% of its lands um, since 1900, and have closed 75% of its banking since the year 1900. The reason this is occurring is because of the printed money. These people aren't working harder than you. They are literally printing money and giving it to white folks. Now, with that being said, um, you can't compete with that if you're black, right? You can't work, your hands are not going to be able to outwork the printing press. It's just not going to happen, okay? So you can't earn more than what the printing press can print, okay? So right now, that means our economy doesn't, it's no way it could work for us, you know, because the white people they give it to, first and foremost, before anything, they don't even know any black people. And they definitely ain't lending us nothing. See, what the setup is supposed to be is the Federal Reserve is supposed to print the money, loan it to the banks, who are then supposed to loan it to the public, which is us, so that we can create business and create money, so that then we pay the bank back for loaning us the money, and then the bank pays the Federal Reserve back for loaning them the money. And this is supposed to be a cycle, right? But the problem is what the banks have been doing is printing the money and buying back their own stock. They've been printing the money and giving themselves and their family members chunks of it. The whole bonus, the bonus thing, that's what that is. The bonuses, those are normally Federal Reserve monies being given to bankers, right? Large bonuses. They're not earning any of that. They're not earning any of that. And so for them to turn their nose up on you, at you, you know, the white people who do that, and to say you black people need to pull your bootstraps up and all this weird stuff, y'all ain't pulled your bootstraps up either. Only thing you're doing is stealing money, because ultimately that's what it is. It's stolen money. Okay, you haven't earned it. Okay. And you just got a license to print it, but that license to print doesn't mean that you haven't been contracted to do certain things with that money that you haven't done. So it's still theft. Okay? So let's get that out the way now. Boom. This is what we're dealing with. As a black economy, we have to deal with the fact that they're printing money. Now, we can fight that printing money thing, but when I have went to Black America about fighting it, it seems like we ain't give a damn. You know, we gave not one damn that they's printing money and just giving it to themselves and their friends. And that you have to compete with, you're buying a house, you have to compete with these banks and their printing press, because that's who your competition is. The banks own the corporate. It's all over Bloomberg and everywhere else how the corporations are buying up all the real estate. Why? Because they don't know how to make money. They're being given money for free from the Federal Reserve, and they don't have anybody to lend the money to because they don't deal with black folks. We are the creators. Period. So, with all of that being said, I have brought this problem to Black America, and Black America didn't give a damn either. And so, from my sentiments, when it comes to Black America, I believe Black Americans like slavery, because that's what you're in right now. Slavery. Okay? That's what this is. This is not a free market like they claim. Because in a free market, we would have just as much access to those federal funds as white people have, and that's not what's occurring. Nobody would dispute that, right? Okay, all the banks they lend this money to, or the majority of the banks they lend those monies to, the majority and a vast majority, not a little majority, the vast majority are white-owned banks, and the loans go to white people. We have been cut out of the economy, and then the rest of, a lot of the chunk is now going to immigrants too, just to be frank, not to knock them, but it's the truth, you know. And so for me, Black Americans have accepted the fact that they're slaves, right? Because they don't want to know, none of Black America wants to risk anything to address this Federal Reserve problem. We could talk around all this other stuff, but until white folks start divvying up those Federal Reserve funds equally within communities, especially ours, until we get a piece, ain't nobody gonna have a piece, and ain't nobody gonna have peace in general. That's just how it works. Period. You're not gonna have peace on someone else's land if you're just cutting them out of all the economics. You don't know what you're doing. That's the first thing. You don't know how to generate money in that on that land without those people who are from that land, who have birthed that land. They are always going to know more than you. It is in their blood, in their DNA. That's how it works. Okay? But black people have been relegated to me giving up. I don't see any fighting black Americans. I talk to probably hundreds of black Americans a day. And in every sense of the word, in every way, I try to push on them our need to deal with this Federal Reserve problem amongst the other problems. And for me, black people simply don't want to risk the slavery that they have now in order to fight and achieve freedom. They don't want that. They like the slavery they're in now. They're okay with it. As long as they got a vacation, as long as they got a car, a little apartment, they all right with it. We ain't tripping off being slaves. You know, this ain't too bad. You get what I'm saying? That's the mentality I have received from black Americans about their own fight. They don't mind paying 3 times the amount for a house. They don't mind paying 3 times the amount for groceries. We don't mind having to go through white people in order to get employed. We don't mind not owning our house at all, being lifetime renters. Lifetime renters. We don't mind that. You know, we don't mind any of the mechanisms of slavery that have been instilled into us. We don't want to fight the white man. I don't know if it's fear. I don't know what it is. But for whatever reason, black folks don't want to challenge the white man. Right? And so I'm not about to keep fighting for people who don't want to fight for themselves. I'm going to let you know that now. My political network isn't going anywhere. My political party isn't going anywhere. And anything else I'm doing isn't going anywhere. What's going to go somewhere, though, is these black folks around here who ain't really willing to fight. That's what's going to go somewhere. I won't be communicating with you too much longer in that sense. Because at the end of the day, you know, all of us ain't comfortable being slaves, baby. All of us ain't comfortable working for the white bankers and making them rich, you know. And it's a group of us that are quite tired of the disrespect, especially the disrespect that comes from other black folks who ain't willing to do nothing. You know, and this goes to all the activists. I want y'all to listen to me. Activists. I have been an activist my whole life. My whole life. I was hired by the DC government to be an activist back when I was 16 years old and to speak at these different places and do these different things. You see what I'm saying? I have been up and down the road. I hold protests by myself. Last year, I held at least 30 protests by myself with no one else out there protesting except for me. So I does this in ways that you guys, I just won't even talk about on camera. Word to the activists, stop fighting for these black people. Worry about your family. Worry about your loved ones. Worry about your kids. Okay? Make the alliances wherever you have to make them. I don't care if that's with Trump himself. Make whatever alliance you have to make. These black people are not going to fight for you. Period. Look at Malcolm X. Yeah, if we want to really talk the talk. We all know who killed him. That man lived and died of old age. Nobody went up there to avenge Malcolm X's death. Not one person. Martin Luther King. Nobody has avenged Martin Luther King's death. Please don't tell me the riots in '68 is what did it, because y'all wasn't even responsible for that. Don't think I don't know the truth. That thing was to do one thing and one thing only: kill the black economy, because every black business district in America went up in smoke that same day, and they blamed it on black folks. But we all know black folks ain't do that. Let's be clear about this. Y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to wake up. And again, I don't care if you wake up or not, because I'm not fighting for the people who ain't fighting for me anyway. And so for me, that's what I'm telling the activists: align with the people who are willing to align with you. See no color, because the black folks don't give a damn. They not willing to lose their job like you're going to have to lose if you go out there fighting, activists. They're not willing to put no money up. They not willing to fund you. They not willing to do a damn thing for you. And when you die, they gonna sit there and talk trash, probably talk trash about you, like, oh, I knew that was gonna happen, like they did with Malcolm. Malcolm's death was for no reason. He died for nothing. Because y'all ain't about to do nothing for that man or that man family. And you haven't done nothing for the man or the man family. You won't even do as much as to take your money out the white banks. Take your money out the white banks. Don't deal with them. You know they had something to do with Malcolm's death. It came out several times over again. Why you ain't take your money out the white banks and put it into the black banks? Why you ain't refinance your home out of that white company and go refinance with the black company? Why ain't none of y'all didn't do anything? Y'all have done nothing. That's just the truth. And I don't subscribe to any person risking their livelihood and risking their loved ones and risking their own freedoms to go out here and fight for people that ain't gonna fight for them back. I do not subscribe to that. And I don't think anybody should be doing that. And trust me, when I say this, black activists, all the activists out there, these people ain't about to fight for you. I'm just going to let you know clearly, you doing this at your own risk. And they're going to laugh at you when something happens to you too. Okay? You listen to how Charleston White talk about Nipsey Hussle. I get what he's saying, but regardless, listen to how Charleston White, a black man, talks about Nipsey Hussle. I get where he's going with it. But listen to how he talks about Nipsey Hussle after he gave his life to try to bring us information. We don't give a goddamn. We don't care about nothing for maintaining this slavery that we got. Because that's all it is slavery. It's not an economy. It's not black power. Y'all, I don't even want to hear black power come out y'all mouth at all anymore. That's dead. Don't talk to me about reparations. That's dead. They just gave reparations to the Israelis yesterday. 656 million, I believe. Where's you black folks at now? Where y'all at? Y'all don't give a damn. Y'all don't care. Y'all not willing to do anything to help black Americans gain equality and freedom. You're not willing to do anything, right? So I don't subscribe to any black person going out there. I don't care if it's Dr. Jumar. I don't care if it's Ben Crump. I don't care if it's people who supposedly got larger resumes than me or whatever the case may be. Man, brothers, go sit down. Don't do that. Don't risk your family. Get your money. Get your money. Get your money. And worry about feeding your family and taking care of yourself and your bills. To hell with this black fight. There's no such thing. Until black folks are willing to fight for themselves, which I don't believe is going to happen until the economy crashes. Because for whatever reason, we don't like to do things until it's too late. Okay? So I don't see anything happening in any shape, form, or fashion until an economic crash happens. Then we might get mad at the government and then want to go out here and do this and do that. I'm not doing it then, though. Nah, that's too late for me. I have fought tooth and nail. I have lost a lot of friends. I've lost a lot of money. A lot of money fighting for you people. And I have got nothing in return but your ass to kiss. So, please, spare me. Don't go out here and do any of that stuff. Go feed your family. Go do what's right for you. If you're a black activist, I think you should write some books, do some things financially to take care of you and your family. To hell with black people, because they ain't about to do a damn thing but sit there and type and post. That's what we think activism is nowadays. We think it's typing and posting, and it is typing and posting. Respect, but you gotta have more than that. And if you ain't willing to go do the more than that, you better damn sure support the person that is willing to go do the extra. Y'all don't do either. But then you expect equality. Where's equality gonna happen? How is that gonna happen? And you ain't fought for it. Where do they do that at? You think the white man just gonna magically give you something because it's morally right? White man ain't got no morals. And I ain't talking to all white people. I'm talking about the white bankers. The white bankers don't have morals because that's who you're dealing with. And that's what I said from the beginning, just to let those know for the disclaimer portion. The, the white bankers don't have morals. They don't care about your little morals. Only people subject to morals are you black folks. Which is you damn fools for that too, if you ask me. You damn fools for that. Stop playing by their rules and start playing by your own. Okay? That's this whatever we got going on, it ain't about to induce no damn freedom. It ain't about to induce no damn jobs. And it ain't about to induce no damn changes of the law. The law's still gonna be racist as hell. You're not gonna be part of any economy. We've already kind of accepted slavery. And even with us, when you look at online, my man ain't got no job, my woman ain't got no job, it's at the end of the day, we're even forcing each other into slavery. Slavery is the standard at this point. Okay? And that's just the way it is. So all of this fighting for, please, kill that noise. Because y'all ain't about to do nothing. All you doing is distracting people from being able to go actually make a difference in another way. But y'all are not willing to fight. Okay? That's clear. Y'all are not willing to fight. You're not willing to lose your job. You're not willing to put no money up. You're not going to do anything. Now, mind you, shout out to the people that have supported. Believe you me, we still gonna rock out. If you already a part of my foundation, if you already a part of the political party, we still rocking out. This not for y'all. This for a lot of the other ones who didn't want to act, who don't want to act, who don't want to help, who don't want to do anything. I'm sorry. We gotta separate from y'all at some point, or you'll get the minimum of what we have to offer, and hopefully you come around at some point. But these people should not be risking their lives for you. I'm sorry. I do not subscribe to that. I do not subscribe for any black Americans risking their freedom or their life to fight for these black folks. They don't give a goddamn. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. They don't care, and they not about to do nothing if something happens to you or your family. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Ain't nobody gonna bust a grape. So please, don't do that to yourself. Preserve your life and your freedom first. You see what I'm saying? Worry about you. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned that. From fighting, actually going out here and fighting. And I've seen the results, and I've seen what they give you back. Y'all don't want that. Y'all are better than that. Okay? So, I'm not going to hold y'all long. I said this message is going to be kind of brief, and I think it has been. But the way that we've been doing things is not going to work. It's not going to induce anything other than the disrespect that we've pretty much gotten. Again, white folks don't do anything but print money and give it to their friends and themselves. They ain't working no harder than you. They haven't earned a damn thing at all. They swindled their way through life. Not all, I'm talking about the bankers. And so, whatever moral thing that you're looking for out of them, that ain't about to happen. So cut that. Think about how to beat them, is what you want to think about. Learn the methods they have at their disposal. Learn the methods they've already been using. That's how you play the money game. Do not think that they're about to do anything moral. That's out. They're going to have to be forced to do it if they're going to do it morally. They're going to have to be forced to do, which ain't morally, it's just that your back is against the wall. So, again, I ain't going to hold y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. But I wanted to just put that bug in your ear. As for me, like I said, if you're a part of the political party, if you're a part of whatever it is that we got going on, cool. Okay, I'm down for the crown, right? But if you're not, don't go out here talking about what black people need to, and black freedom, and black, you're not about to do anything. So cut it out. Most of y'all are just pandering for likes. Most of y'all posting Trump, don't give a damn about what Trump doing for real. You just pandering for likes. Like, everybody know what you doing. You know, and it's insulting because I don't see no other demographic doing this, right? I do see other demographics pandering for likes, but not using their politics. No, I don't see that. I can't. I haven't seen an African talking negative about their president yet. I haven't heard a Venezuelan talking negative about Maduro, and he's supposed to have been a monster. I haven't seen one post saying Maduro monster self then got caught. Nothing. Y'all are pandering for likes. You don't even have no gauge as to what you won't do for these likes. It's disgusting, man. And me, I'm in it for real because I'm going to go out here and bust a grape and whatever else I got to bust for my people to make sure that we protect ourselves. I ain't tripping, right? But everybody, y'all know y'all ain't like that. And y'all know y'all have no intention on doing that. Leave these people alone. Let us be, you know. Let us be. Let us be. This ain't rocket science. You know, this ain't rocket science. So, again, I ain't gonna hold y'all too much. I'm glad. I thank y'all for coming and listening to me run my mouth about the state of Black America. But yeah, don't do that, activists. Again, Malcolm died for no reason. Martin died for no reason. We can't lose no more lives. Not activists. We need y'all. So I'm speaking to the activists. Let these people fight for themselves for right now. That's what they need. They're not ready for a revolution. They're not ready for anything of that nature. So don't do it. They're not ready for it. Trust me. Talk to them, and you'll see they ain't ready. You know, we not there yet. You know, we might never get there. But for me and mine, we're going to make adjustments knowing that you guys, most of y'all are sellouts, or, you know, most of y'all are just not really willing to do but so much other than post. That's all you willing to do is post something and hit the share button. That's it. Or comment. That's it. That's all you're willing to do in order to fight for Black freedom. Okay? Now, that being said, y'all make y'all adjustments and move on. Okay? So, I'm going to leave y'all with that. Again, after which is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Y'all stay out the way, man. Drive safely. Get home from work. Wherever it is you're going, make sure your kids get home safe and everything.